I became a millionaire at 33. And if I could go back and talk to my younger self and give her some advice, here's what I would say. Number one, build up your learning equity. What is learning equity? Learning equity is the value that you build over time from what you learn, the skills you gain, the experience you collect through education and real life practice. Unlike traditional financial equity, learning equity is much more important early on. In fact, Jim Rohn says, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. Money is simply a byproduct of value. The more value you bring to the marketplace, the more money you make. So here's the key. If you can't bring value if you haven't first built the knowledge and the skill sets to contribute value. Think of it like this. When you invest in financial assets, you expect interest to compound over time. Well, learning works the same way. The more you learn, the more skills you develop and the more experience you gain. The more valuable you then become to other people. And so just like the compound interest, the earlier you start investing in your learning skills, the bigger the payoff. This gives you leverage. And so when you can solve a bigger problem for people, you can command a higher price. So an example of this could be as a writer or an editor. Maybe you know how to help someone write a really good book, but you don't know much about the publishing and selling side. So learning equity would be, I'm going to master this area of publishing and selling books that I know is a super important piece of the puzzle for writers. So when they hire me to have me help them finish the book, I can offer them a bigger payoff. I'm not just getting them a completed manuscript, I'm getting them written, published, and sold. So your learning equity becomes the tool that you use to build not just wealth, but freedom. Start with yourself. Start learning early on. Start building that learning equity. Number two, learn to say no without guilt. See, boundaries are essential. Saying no to things that don't align with your goals really allows you to say yes to what truly matters to you. You've got to understand this. Saying no isn't selfish, it's strategic because your time, energy, and talents are your most valuable assets. And how you manage them determines the level of success that you achieve. If you keep saying yes to every invitation, every project, every favor, guess what? You are going to find yourself exhausted, unfulfilled, and stuck in someone else's plan for your life. I love what Warren Buffett says. The difference between successful people and really successful people is the really successful people say no to almost everything. That means when you say yes, you better mean it. And when you say no, you stand firm without guilt. So the next time you feel pressured to say yes when you really mean no, remember this, you are the CEO of your life. And the great CEOs don't approve every deal. Only the ones that drive the vision forward. Number three, move fast while the fire's hot. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had an idea, and I mean a good idea, that lit you up inside, and you felt that fire in your belly with this idea? This is it. This is the one. This is the idea. But instead of moving, you sat on it. You waited. Maybe you said, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow never comes. We all know this is true. And that idea, it doesn't feel as hot anymore. And see, ideas are like sparks from a fire. You catch them quick and you ignite something powerful, a flame that lights the way. But if you let them fizzle out, they're gone, just like smoke in the wind. See, the magic is in striking while the spark is still hot. In fact, W. Clement Stone had this powerful principle called do it now. It's his favorite phrase. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Why? Because he understood something. He understood that passion has a shelf life. Have you ever noticed that? Like the longer you sit around thinking about and overanalyzing and questioning, the more the fire starts to cool down. And the cooler it gets, the harder it is to move. Overthinking is the enemy of momentum. It's like putting water on a fire you're supposed to be feeding. It's like the old Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Every millionaire, every successful person that you see, they didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They didn't sit around waiting for the light to finally turn green before they left the driveway. They moved when the idea was fresh, when the excitement was high, because that's when the energy is free. You don't need to manufacture motivation when you are already fired up. What happens if you let it cool down? Now you're fighting inertia. The longer you sit on that idea, the longer you sit on that nudge, the weaker it becomes. And so the next time you get that spark, move, capitalize on it, make the call, write the email, do it now. Because here's the truth, action beats intention every time. So stop waiting for the perfect moment because the perfect moment is now. Do it now. Number 4, the power of perception. People don't see you as you are, they see you as they are. Every single day, you are going to encounter people who project their fears, their failures, their frustrations onto you. And it's inevitable that this will happen. If you are going to create something in this world, you will face this all of the time. People are going to throw their opinions at you like darts, trying to hit something inside of you that doubts your worth. But guess what? They can't hit a target that doesn't exist. So here's the truth. What people say about you is rarely about you. It's a reflection of their own internal world. It's a statement about themselves. Their comments, criticism, negativity are just mirrors of their insecurities. It's mirrors of their unresolved issues. And if you're not careful, you will start absorbing their projections, letting them shake your confidence. How many of you guys have had this happen to you? You will start allowing them to slow your progress and keep you broke, not just financially, but mentally and emotionally. So you have to be able to develop the skill of separating the negativity from the constructive feedback. If someone is being irrationally negative or saying things about you that aren't true, you have to get really good at tuning out the noise, the static. Just tune it out. Because when you allow someone's projection to penetrate your mind, you are giving them power over your own destiny. So here's the principle. Do not internalize what isn't yours. If it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't align with your purpose, let it slide right off your back like water off a duck's back. Keep your mental space, your mental peace guarded like a fortress, because your mindset is your greatest asset. And so the next time someone tries to project their limitations onto you, just smile at them and say to yourself, that's not my story, because you are too busy writing your own. Number 5, failure is feedback, not a final destination. The most successful people on this planet have failed more times than most people have ever dared to try. Why? Because successful people understand something important. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the prerequisite. You see, success isn't a straight line. It is a series of lessons, adjustments, and growth moments that are wrapped up in what the rest of the world calls failure. But here's the reality. Failure only becomes final when you stop moving forward. Until then, it's just feedback. And so the next time that you hit a wall, resist the urge to throw in the towel and ask yourself, what is this teaching me right now? What is this teaching me? Learn to evaluate everything. It is the difference between repeating the same thing over and over and over again and not getting any better, and quantum leaping with your skill sets and your assets. Number 6, consistency crushes motivation every single time. Here's the thing about motivation. Motivation is like a friend who hypes you up on Friday night, but disappears when it's time to clean up on Saturday morning. That's motivation. It is fleeting. It is emotional. It's unreliable. That's motivation. What about consistency? Consistency is the loyal friend that shows up rain or shine, sticks around. Even when things get tough, they're there. They're the ones who help you build the life that you say you want. You see, motivation is based on how you feel in the moment. But feelings fluctuate. One day you're fired up and the next day you're flatlined. But success isn't built on feelings, it's built on principles. And one of the most powerful principles is discipline through consistency. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your habits. And the habits are born out of consistency. Champions aren't crowned because they felt motivated. They're crowned because they kept showing up, regardless of how they felt. And let me ask you, when was the last time that you saw a farmer out there planting seeds only when they felt like it? No! They went out there and they plant, they water, they nurture the crops every season on schedule, even when the sun's blazing hot, even when the rain won't stop. Why? Because they understand that the harvest isn't tied to the hype, it's tied to the habit. So here's the real key. Fall in love with the process, not the feeling. Build routines in your life that actually create momentum for you, and that momentum is what will actually carry you through on those days when motivation packs its bags and leaves the town. You see, success isn't about how often you feel like it. It's about how consistent you are when you don't. Number 7, comparison is the thief of joy and the killer of progress. And see, this is how it looks. You're scrolling through social media, looking through someone else's highlight reel, and suddenly, boom, you're not feeling like you're enough. That's why Stephen Furtick said, the reason we struggle with insecurity is because we compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. See, when you're busy looking over at somebody else's lane and you keep taking your eyes off your own road, you can't drive forward staring at someone else's car. You will crash every single time. And that's exactly what people do. They they see someone else's success and they're looking over and they're looking over and they're thinking, why am I not there yet? Why don't I have what they have? Why isn't it my turn? But here's the reality. You don't know what it costs them to get there. You see their shine, but you don't see their grind. You see the mansion, you didn't see the mortgage. You see the success, you didn't see the sacrifice. And even if you did, guess what? Their path isn't your path. So stop comparing across and start comparing within. Are you better today than you were yesterday? That's the comparison that matters. Your journey is your journey. And when you define success based on someone else's achievements, you will always feel behind. When you define success based on your own purpose, your own growth, your calling, you realize you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Listen, you weren't created to be a carbon copy of somebody else. You've been given your own unique blueprint, your own assignment. So why are you out there trying to live somebody else's life? Like, that's like trying to run a marathon in shoes that are 2 sizes too small. It's not going to fit and it's going to hurt the whole way. Here's what you need to do. Stay in your lane, run your race, and trust your pace. Number 8, time is your most valuable resource. Not money, not opportunities, time. You can lose money and make it back. I've seen it a million times. You can miss an opportunity and find another one, but when you waste time, it's gone. You're not getting it back. And here's the thing, people treat money like it's the most precious resource they have, and they treat time like it's disposable. You will spend hours binge watching shows, scrolling through social media, hanging around people who drain your energy, and then wonder, why am I not where I want to be? Let me tell you something. How you spend your time is how you spend your life. You've got 86,400 seconds in a day. Every second is like $1 in your time bank. You're either investing it or you're wasting it. And the question is, are you spending those seconds on things that move you closer to your purpose, or are you throwing them away on distractions that are keeping you stuck? Now is the time to do an audit. I'm not saying that you can't relax, you can't have fun, but there is a difference between resting and escaping. Escaping drains you, resting recharges you. So you've got to ask yourself, is this activity feeding my future, or is it stealing from it? Here's a secret. You don't find time, you make time for what matters. Prioritize in your life people, projects, activities that align with your values and your vision. Stop giving your precious minutes to things or people that don't matter. And if you don't value your time, someone else will waste it for you. You've got to protect your time like it is your most prized possession, because the truth is it is. You wouldn't let someone walk into your house and steal all of your money. And so why are you letting distractions walk into your life and steal your time? Number 9, gratitude changes everything. I'm not talking about some feel-good, fluffy stuff. I'm talking about a power principle that can transform your life from the inside out. See, most people walking around focused on what they don't have, and they're wondering why they feel stuck, frustrated, and unfulfilled. But here's the truth. You can't attract more if you're always focusing on what's missing. See, gratitude shifts your focus. It takes your eyes off the task and puts them on the abundance. The abundance is already there in your life. Because let me be real with you, if you can't appreciate what you have right now when you have it, you won't appreciate more when you have it. You won't appreciate more when it shows up. Here's the key. What you focus on expands. Focus on problems, you see more problems. Focus on opportunities, you see more opportunities. It's not magic, it is a principle. So these are the 9 life lessons that have shaped my entrepreneurial journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.